Hi everyone. Today our group will talk about the supportive communication and defensive communication. First of all, we are going to show 2 minutes video example. Then Simmer and Kevin will talk about the supportive communication. After that, Amanda and Kendra will talk about the defensive communication. In the end, Kendra will give an explanation about two-way communication and the conclusion. Now, let's look at the video.
You're here a lot now.
Oh, am I talking too much? I'm sorry. Zip.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Oh, hey, Kim. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall. You'll never guess who they got to replace you at work.
Okay. I know what you're doing.
Really?
Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior.
Very good. Chocolate?
No, I don't want it. Sheldon, you can't train my girlfriend like a lab rat.
Actually, it turns out I can.
Well, you shouldn't.
There's just no pleasing you, is there, Leonard? You weren't happy with my previous approach to dealing with her, so I decided to employ operant conditioning techniques, building on the works of Thorndike and B.F. Skinner. Yet by this time next week, I believe I can have her jumping out of a pool, balancing a beach ball on her nose.
No, this has to stop now.
I'm not suggesting we really make her jump out of a pool. I thought the bazinga was implied.
Now, let's look at the supportive communication.
First of all, descriptive. Descriptive message offer your thoughts, feelings, and wishes without judging the other person. They make specific observation and focus on the behavior that can be changed rather than the personal characteristic that cannot. Descriptive is not non-judgmental. Here we did not judge anyone or any person. It presents the information that is free of hidden messages. For example, you left the lights on the night when you went home. Here we are describe out the problem. We did not make any judgment on the person. Second factor is problem oriented. Here we just focus on the problem. What the problem is going on. We did not blame or we did not blame on a person that you are causing a problem. Here we just focus on a problem. For example, we have a problem in a production. How might we solve it? We did not ask who is making the problem in the production process. We just want to ask what is the problem in the production process and how could we solve it. And the third factor is equality. Equality recognizes that other people have just as much worth as themselves, regardless of their amount of knowledge or talent in a particular area. Here we treat everyone equally. We accept others as equal, even if different. Identify their strength, use abilities, skills, experience of others. We invite inputs. For example, we can say, I have some ideas, but I would like to hear your suggestion first. Here we are present ourselves too, and we are asking others to present their ideas too. So we are treating equally. And the fourth factor is flexibility. Flexibility is a skill, include the willingness and the ability to readily respond to changing circumstances and the situation. Whenever there is any changing in the situation, we are flexible to do it. It is open to exploring ideas, listening to the alternatives, puts aside own perceptions, problem solve. For example, I have some concerns, but tell me the rest of your idea. If we have ideas, and hope so the other person have the good ideas, so we evaluate which is good idea and we should go with that. This is called the flexibility. We have to change ourselves or our perceptions according to the situations.
Empathetic expresses concern and respect, accepts the other's feelings as valid, validates the other's problem. For example, I'd sure be upset if I were in your place. You're showing that if it happened to you, you would be upset also. So you're validating their problem. Specific is concerned with the present, focuses on specific details. For example, you did not allow me to finish my presentation. That's speaking of not being able to complete the presentation at that time and not being able to get all the details presented that they wanted to. Spontaneous is free of deception, is congruent with the situation. For example, I need your help or I won't complete this project. Appropriately intimate is well-timed, is neither pushy nor aloof. For example, we've worked together for a long time and I'd like to tell you how much I enjoy your humor. You're telling the person that you enjoy the humor while at work. It's not pushy, it's well-timed. If you were to ask them to go for a drink, it's like, we've worked together for a long time. I think we should be friends and go for a drink. That's not well-timed, and it is pushy.
Now, Amanda and Kendra will talk about the defensive communication. First, evaluative. Speech or other behavior which appears evaluative increases defensiveness. If by expression, manner of speech, tone of voice, or verbal content, the sender seems to be evaluating, passes judgment, blames or praises, question the values, standards, morals of the other, receiver goes on guard. For example, you make me so mad on you. You're always late. Personal-oriented. When someone is trying to do something to someone else, they are more focused on themselves and blames the others. Attempts to change others' attitude, to influence others' behavior, or to restrict others' input into the solution. The degree to which attempts to control produce defensiveness. For example, why are you and your crew so slow? What are you going to do with them? Superiority-oriented. When a person communicates to another that he or she feels superior in position, enforces power position, blow up own strengths, point out other weaknesses, negates others' skills, abilities, experiences, and discourages input of others. She or he arouses defensiveness. For example, your suggestion is useless. This is the way the job should be done. Rigid. Those who seems already have the answers, to require no additional data, which insists there is only one way to do things, insists on their own way to be right, as wanting to win an argument rather than solve a problem, and as seeing his or her ideas as truth to be defended. This kind of behavior often creates defensiveness. For example, that will never work.
Detached shows a lack of concern for the others, dismisses the other's feelings, rejects the idea that the other has a problem. For example, you think you have a problem. Listen to what happened to me. This behavior displays that you're not concerned with the other person's thoughts, feelings, or well-being, and merely concerned with your own. Global uses words like always, never, and constantly. Makes generalized observations. Example, you always interrupt me before I'm finished. This shows the lack of thought into what the individual is saying. Strategic. Attempts to manipulate the others, tries to hide the truth. Example, you could really win some brownie points with the boss if you stayed late. This displays how an individual disregards the other's concerns in order to achieve their own. inappropriately intimate, is poorly timed, is overbearing or reserved. Example, I know we've just met, but I find you very attractive. This is again a lack of concern and thought into what is being said to the other person. Two-way communication relies on the sending and receiving process. With verbal communication, you must listen, actually hear what the individual is trying to say, decipher the message, and respond accordingly. With nonverbal, your responses in body language depict if you actually understood the message or not. In conclusion, supportive communication from one person can influence another person to also be supportive. Defensive communication from one person can influence another person to also communicate defensively. What does this mean to you in the groups with which you are involved?